Hey everyone, my name is Sean Cecil from the Oculus Institute, and this is our fourth and final video on the DISC Psychometric, where we will be covering the high C. So C is about caution, compliance, conscientiousness. It's associated with the alchemical element of earth, and the neurotransmitter groups that are associated are the endocannabinoid and the endorphin groups. So high Cs are very detail-oriented, and they're very security focused. So a high C, the animating energy is fear, right? They're always worried about what could go wrong. So the questions you'll hear them asking are why and what if, or why does it do that? Because they want to understand all the different components and see, is there something that I'm missing? And well, what if that happens? What if that happens, right? And the result of this constant scanning, right, is that they're very good with detail. They're very good at the nitty gritty of numbers, right? They're very good at the nitty gritty of, understanding all the possible things that could go wrong and thinking through all the contingencies. The scanning can also be kind of exhausting. So sometimes high Cs will have, high anxiety, that kind of stuff. And so that their weaknesses are A, the anxiety, and the B is they can end up getting trapped in analysis paralysis, right? Because, they're so, well, this could happen, but then if we do this, then this could happen, and they just end up not making a decision, which, by the way, is in and of itself a decision to not do anything, FYI. But their superpower, as I said, is their detail focus, right? So if you're a high C, the kinds of jobs that you want to leverage are going to be jobs that leverage that detail focus. Coders, right? I don't know if you guys have ever done coding, but like if you have one comma out of place, the whole thing crashes, right? Oh, you put this inside this loop instead of just right outside the loop. Oh, your numbers came back totally screwy, right? Like you really need fine attention to detail to be a coder. Lawyers, right? I don't want some guy who forgot about section 32.4 doing my legal brief, especially if section 32.4 ends up being relevant. I want a high C who understands all the relevant sections, who's very focused on making sure he hasn't missed anything, so he covers section 32.4 and anything else that might happen so that I win my case. Like accountants or like tax lawyers, right? People who are dealing with those numbers. I don't want the IRS to come back to me and say that there's something wrong and I'm getting audited. I want the IRS to be like, yes, you followed everything precisely, thank you, right? Like I don't want to deal with the IRS, so let the high C make sure that all those bases are covered and everything's great. And also make sure he's like, hey, listen, you can save on this, you can save on this is totally kosher, right? Like that kind of thing. He goes and he finds all the little savings because he doesn't want me to be upset that he missed something, right? So it's like, those are the kinds of things where like, compliance, right? That's a very high C kind of job. People who are doing spreadsheets, generally is going to be something, all the numbers, computing everything, that's a high C kind of thing. Now, if you're a high C, what you want to avoid, right, is you want to avoid anything that is a very high stimulation, super intense environment. So like, for example, like we're talking about lawyers, doing legal briefs is very much a high C thing. A trial lawyer standing up there in front of the judge and the jury giving their spiel, that is not a high C thing, right? Because that's not about the fine little details entirely anymore. Now you've got this whole other dynamic where there's a lot of pressure and that, can trigger like the fear, the anxiety, the nervousness. Like anything where you're like public facing with a bunch of people, is something that can potentially perturb a high C because they're gonna be scanning every single person in the audience. Right? And one person, maybe that person, ate something bad for lunch and isn't feeling good. And the high C is like, oh, maybe they're upset with me. Like, I don't, it can wear them out. So generally stuff that's more, back office is going to be generally preferred for a high C. There are exceptions if you have people who are DCs. So DCs, if you remember our talk on the D is that high drive energy, dominance energy. And the C is the exact opposite. It's the caution, compliance energy. There's a small group of people, about 3% of the population, that actually are both of those, and they have a lot of internal conflict between those two energies. And if they can learn to manage it, it's very powerful. It's like Elon Musk is a DC. I also happen to be a DC. But if you have somebody who doesn't learn to manage it, there's a reason why DCs have the highest rates of suicide, addiction, depression, etc. It's difficult to manage those two energies. But unless, if you're a DC and I say, hey, it's the nuclear reactor type, and you think about what I just said, and you're like, oh my God, that's exactly me, that's great. We could have a whole other video on DCs. But for most high Cs, they're actually going to be SCs, right? So they're going to be focused more on that security. They're going to be focused more on that component of it. The difference between a high C and a high S is that a high C is it's a low energy modality like a high S, but it's task focused rather than people focused, right? So it's very, very much focused on getting stuff done, on making sure all the bases are covered, on making sure that there are no security weaknesses. Oh, it's cybersecurity. Definitely want a high C for that. That's both coding and security, right? Like that's where you want to go for a high C. Whereas somebody who's like, a low C is somebody when you don't want to be paying attention to the fine details. You want to be paying attention to the big picture. So everyone, that is DISC. Couple videos that we've done on this. This is the fourth and last in this. I'm gonna put all of these into a playlist. If you guys are interested in getting your own DISC assessment and understanding which one you are, and you've been listening to the videos and you're not quite sure, you can go to my website. It's www.oculusinstitute.com/DISC, and you can take the assessment there. I charge you guys the exact same thing that I get charged by the testing company plus the payment processing fee, so I'm not making any profit off of that. I just think it's a really valuable tool, and so I make it available at the lowest price that I can for you all to go get your stuff. So if you want, feel free to go over there, take the DISC assessment, and if you want, you feel free to reach out to me and discuss it, and we can talk about maybe ways of helping me helping you get some more clarity on your specific situation. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's something that resonated with you, maybe a new connection that you made or some information that shifted your perspective, if you found value here, then I want to give you one last gift. So I've put together a free diagnostic that I call a checkup with the career doctor. Short list of questions, and as you answer them, it's going to give you a readout of where you stand on the important metrics of career fulfillment, right? How happy are you with your job and how good a fit is it? Right? Financial success, which we all know, and then internal alignment, which is your level of inner peace and the inner resources that you have to bring to creating the life that you want. Additionally, it's also going to show you which areas you can improve on to get those metrics moving in the right direction, as well as how can we at the Oculus Institute help you make progress. So it's totally free, 100%. All you have to do is just go to www.oculusinstitute.com/purpose quiz, right? No spaces, no dashes, just oculusinstitute.com. That's OCULUSINSTITUTE.com/purpose quiz. And you can take it totally for free. You'll get a free report sent to you. And then at the end, it will give you some next steps of what you can do to reach out so that we can help you create the career of your dreams.